Well, this is 19.3, your Go Math Workbooks, and we're moving from pictographs to bar graphs. And again, it's, we're reading data. Now we're just using a bar graph. And how can you read and interpret data in a bar graph? And it's going to have similar characteristics to the pictograph in the way that it is representing a total number of something occurring. So we just have to be able to look at the bar graph and interpret what data they're trying to tell us that occurred. So you have to be very careful to look at it. So we have a bar graph uses a bar to show data. Here's the bar. A scale of equally spaced numbers helps you read the numbers each bar has. So here's your scale right here. It's very important for you to see the scale because sometimes you're going to have a bar that falls in between. And that is the objective here aside from reading it normally where it falls here equally, the activity where you have to figure out that the bar falls in the center is a skill that you need to determine how to solve. And the way you solve it is you look at the scale. So it's going by twos. So if it falls in the middle, it will be half of two. Okay, so because if it reaches this bar here or this vertical line, it'll be you would be adding two, but since it falls halfway, then this Amy here, it will be 9 books right here. You see how it falls in the middle? And that's the underlying sub-skill that is being taught here. Because most of them that fall here on the vertical line are pretty easy to read. You just go and see where it stops. It's the ones that fall in the middle, but you always have to look at the scale. The scale will let you know how the numbers are put out here. So you need to read. The students in the reading group made a bar graph to record the number of books they read in October. And here's your title. How many books did Seth read? So we're going to underline the words that tell you where to find the information to answer the question. What words do you... Okay, how many books did Seth read? The title tells you what the bar graph is about. This one. It's very important you understand this because you'll be having to make these. Sometimes each bar is labeled with the student's name. Okay, see how each bar has a student's name. The length of the bar tells you how many books each student read. And the scale is 0 to 16 and by twos. This is the key here. By twos. So that if any bar falls in between the numbers in the scale, it will be half. That's the crucial point that I want to make sure you understand here. Okay, so how many books did Seth read? So we go to Seth. Seth read 8 books. How do I read that? It's right here. Now, the key for bar graphs is to take your time because if you rush through this, somehow your eyes will see Seth, but then you're going to look at this bar graph, this bar right here for Kate. It's just a common error of the way the eyes read graphs if you go too fast. That happens a lot sometimes, and I see students do it all the time. When they look at one name and then record the number for another person's, and it's just a common error. So again, it's crucial you take your time with these things. So find the bar for Seth. It ends at 8. So Seth read 8 books. Okay. And we did this one to explain how to read the bar that tells how many books Amy read, and we discussed that right now before. Since it falls in the middle, so Amy reads 9. So now let's answer these. How many books did Max read? Max read 6. Who read 4 fewer books than Kate? Well, how many did Kate read? She read 12. 4 fewer than 12 would be, subtract 4 from 12, that'd be 8. So I'm going to go look at my data here, and the only one that would be Seth. What if Amy read 5 more books? How many books did Amy read? Shade the graph to show how many she read. So first you need to know, find Amy. Here's Amy. You know that's 9. You know that's 9. It's number 9. That's not a very good 9, sorry. So Amy, you're at 9. So 5 more would be what? At 5, what? 14, right? So now Amy's graph bar needs to fall, and so it has to go all the way here, stop at 14, and like so, and then you would shade this in. Okay? And again, starting from the point where Amy started here. So it's crucial you say, oh, it's 9, and then you add the 5. That's all you do that. And again, interpreting what you know. And at this point, boys and girls, I know that these types of word problem questions are very easy for you. I have all the confidence in the world that you can do these basically on your own. But in case there's any questions, we have to be able to analyze this. Good job. So again, we're going to look at other types of graphs. Okay, these two graphs show the same data. The only difference, this is a horizontal graph, and why is it a horizontal graph? Because the bars are in a horizontal position. This is a vertical bar graph. Why is it a vertical bar graph? Because the bars are in a vertical position, but it still tells you the same information. Okay, the scale is the same, 0 to 8, 0 to 8, and it's by fours. You see that? By fours. So then knowing that, you're going to know that anything that falls halfway here, 6 to 20 is 4, so it'll be 2, 16. This one would be 18. See that? This one would be what? 12. It'd be 14. Okay? And again, the data is the same. And then we just look at the questions. What does each space between the numbers represent? What does each space between the numbers represent? Each space is a number of students. Okay? That's what that represents. How can you find the winter activity that most students voted for using the graphs? So here are the winter activities. How can you find the one that the most students voted for using the graphs above? Doesn't matter which one, it's going to be the same one. Well, you're going to go look at the graph, the bar that is the longest, because that's the greatest number, 24. Notice this one's the same, sledding 24. So you will look at the bar that is the longest. So we have a question about the spinner and the spinner results. We have the number of times here, and it goes from a scale from 0 to 50, and it's by tens. So I know anything halfway, I'll be adding 5 to the number before it. Okay, how many more times did the pointer stop on green than purple? Then green was 30. Halfway here would be what? 35, good. Purple is 20. So I subtract that, and your answer is what? Yes, 15 more times. That'd be 15 here. How many fewer times did the pointer stop on blue than on red and green combined? Okay, so now that's a multi-step. Red, you have to add red and green. Red is 40. Green is 35, so 40 and 35. 35 is what? 75. That's a 3. Okay. And blue is what? 20. Subtract 20. And my answer is 55. 55. This would be 55 here. And again, you have to add first the red and the green, and then subtract the blue. Okay, what if there were 15 more spins and the pointer stopped 10 more times on green? 10 more times on green would be what? 30, 35. Yes, 30, it's 35. And then you add 10. 35 would be 45. And 5 more times on blue. So blue would be what? 25. How many more times did the pointer stop on green than blue? So you would subtract the new number, and I have that for you here, okay? And your answer would be 20, okay? Again, knowing that you have to add 10 more on green, so 35 plus 10 would be 45, right? And 5 more times on blue. So blue was 20, okay? So now it's 25, 5 more, subtract, and then you get 20. That's how you got that one. So again, just using what you know and going step by step. Okay, we're going to keep moving here. So we're looking at these questions right here. And again, we're just going to use the graph. And it gives us everything that we need to do. So Diego has 5 fewer of this kind of DVD than comedy. So let's look at the graph first. Kinds of DVDs. Here's your scale, 0 to 14, and it looks like it's going by twos. Okay, by 2. So halfway in any one of these would be adding 1. So 5 fewer of this kind of DVD than comedy. Well, how many comedies do they have? 12. 5 fewer than 12 would be what? Well, 12 minus 5 equals 7. So let's look at 7. 7 would fall right here between the 6 and the 8, and that would be action. Action would be the answer for this one. Multi-step. Is the number of comedy and action DVDs greater than? Okay, greater than or less than? Okay, remember, the alligator always eats the larger number. So the number of comedy and action DVDs, comedy would be what? 12. And action is 5. So that would be 17. Then the number of animated and drama. Animated would be 12, 13, because it falls in the middle. Drama is 2. That's 15. So which one's greater? 17 is greater than 15. Okay? And it's written down over here a little bit nicer for you to read. Okay? Oops. And that's how we did um, this one. Oh, did I make a mistake there? I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Okay. 13. Sorry about that. Animated. Okay. 12 plus 7 equals 19. And then 13 plus 2, which is this one, 13. Plus the 2 of the animated and drama. That's 19. Okay. Animated and drama. Animated and drama. Okay. So your possible explanation is 12 plus 7, which is what? Animated and action. That's your 19. Then, then the number of, I'm sorry, I'm still doing it. Number of comedy. Sorry. Comedy and action. Comedy. The number of comedy and action DVDs greater than the number of comedy and action. See if you don't slow down, you can easily make a mistake. So this is 12 plus 7. That's your 19. This is the comedy and action. Okay. Then the number of animated and drama. Animated is 13. And drama is 2. That's your 15 here. So 19 is greater than 15. I apologize for that. It is late in the evening right now, and my eyes are getting a little bit old here. So I apologize for that. That was the error here that I made. I was looking at this one and then this one. But again, you see how it could easily make the error, but you could always come back and just check it. Check it. Check your work. So the next one is how many DVDs does Diego have that are not comedy DVDs? Well, you just have to take a look that are not comedy. Okay. This one's not comedy. This one's not comedy. and this one. So you just add them. 13 plus 2 is 15. 15 plus 7, that would be 22. Okay, so you just omit the comedy. Okay, so now we're using this graph here. How many more students would have to do a project on plants to equal the number of projects on space? So again, look at your graph here. Okay, so the number of students is here, the subjects are here, the science fair projects, and it looks like it's jumping from 0 to 6. So halfway would be adding 3 to the number. So then just find out how many more students would have to do a project on plants. So plants is what? Falls halfway, there's 3 for plants. Now figure out the other one having to do space, and space falls where? Space falls 18. Okay, so 21. 21. So 21 minus 3, that would give you the 18 more students. Okay, and again, knowing that this one is going by sixes. Okay, so halfway, it'd be half of 6, would be adding 3 more to this number. So they're giving you this one here. How would you look at this one here? Well, they're giving you the numbers, the science fair projects in order from greatest to least. They start with animals, then space, then rocks, then oceans, and the last one is plants. And hopefully you will be able to see that. Yes, I could put that in order from greatest to least. The next one, what if 3 fewer students did a project on weather than did a project on rocks? 3 fewer students did a project. Describe what the bar graph would look like. Well, there would be 6 bars instead of 5. 1, 2, 3, because you would have to add what? Weather. And the bar for weather would be where? Okay. So you have to look at rocks. Rocks falls at 18, and 5 fewer than rocks. So subtract 18, subtract 5 from 18, and that would give you what? Subtract 3 from 18. That would give you what? 15. Okay. But this is the key right here. You would have to add another one because you have to add weather. Weather's not here. Well, thank you all for being so patient with me, and I do apologize for my old eyes here. I hope I didn't confuse anyone, but again, this just goes to show you that there's these bar graphs sometimes can get a little bit tricky if you don't really sit down and start writing and showing your work. Okay, it's very hard to do it with mental math if you're going through it too fast. So thank you for your patience. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know during our live video sessions. Thank you so much for being a great class. It's been a joy having everyone as students this year, and I hope that at some point we get to say goodbye face to face. For now, this is Mr. Lopez signing off. Have a wonderful and beautiful day.